There is a phenomenon in the automotive industry where they say, or we say rather, that it comes in waves. And it comes in heat waves. Look at that, 82 degrees on the Fahrenheit scale. 81.8 degrees in the Fahrenheit scale. It was like 30 and some change 2 days ago. Looks like the polar vortex is over with. How are you guys doing up north? Is it still like super cold up there, or are we experiencing like this crazy fluctuation in temperature changes? Let me know in the comment section down below. Anyway, as I said, it comes in waves, and we have here another Chrysler Pentastar product. Here's the other 3.6 liter V6. I believe this one is a year model 2012, if memory serves. I can check the stickers here. No, 11, I was so close. 2011 year model on this particular Chrysler Town and Country. However, this one is not here due to that leaking engine oil cooler / oil filter housing assembly. We just did this job, that oil cooler job, on another Chrysler product. I think that was a Pacifica. It's still outside, hasn't picked up yet. But we just did some engine repair on the Achilles heel on that engine. However, this particular Chrysler Stellantis product is not affected by that leaker just yet. I don't know if it's ever been changed before, but that valley is not full, so that's not what we're here for today. This one comes to us because it has a bunch of dash lights, or a bunch of warning indicators on the dash at 149,048 miles on the odometer. And customer states when they put it in drive, they get a loud clicking, grinding, banging noise, and the vehicle will not move. This thing had to be pushed in earlier. It's on the rack, it's kind of set up. Let's bust out the scan tool, and I want to check what those trouble codes are first. Then we're gonna start it. We're gonna see what's going on with this noise, and then figure out what we have to do with regards to our path to repair. So stay tuned, because this is gonna be a very good video. Ding, 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 shut up. All right, scan tool's connected. Let's power this thing on. We're gonna pull up some trouble codes here. Let's restart the engine and see which lights are illuminated. Let's see what we have here. Well, nothing really. Looks like we've got a tire pressure warning flashing indicator, and the daytime running lamp on indicator is illuminated. You know what? I actually feel bad I have to do this, but I really need to do this because I see videos of people just kind of driving around like, you know, shorts and whatnot, and everybody seems to have their blue headlight indicator turned on. You guys need to understand something about that. That is not your headlight on indicator. That is your high beam indicator. So when you guys are riding around town with that blue light on, what you're doing is blinding everyone else. And I don't think people know that that's what that means. That does not mean your lights are on. That means your high beams are on. Stop driving around with your high beams on. It's really not cool. Yeah, see, look, we got a winner. Look at that, right back there. Moron with the blue light turned on in their dash. Foolishness. Watch, let me show you. If we, let's see, turn the headlights on, look, there's the on position. No illuminator. If we flip this forward, watch it. That's high beams. See that? Look outside. High beams, low beams. High beams, low beams. Off. See? On, off, high beams, low beams. Stop driving around with your high beams on, everybody. It's really aggravating for everyone else that knows better. Personally, I blame the parents. Anyway, back to the business at hand here. Let's pull up trouble codes in this particular Chrysler product. Anyway, like I said, I don't see the light here, but the customer stated there was a bunch of warning lights that came on, so we need to figure out what's going on with that. So we're gonna go down, looks like a 2011 automatic ID. Satellites are linking up in outer space. Got our VIN number, 149,048 miles on the odometer. That matches, confirmed, 3.6 liter V6 Pentastar. Okie dokie. Checking for systems. Display all fitted systems, please. And I don't want to do a code scan because that's going to ping every module in the car and it takes 20 minutes. But we can take a look for engine codes and transmission codes. And since the thing doesn't go anywhere, I suspect we're going to find some transmission codes. No codes in our engine. That's good. Back it on out. Transmission. And nope, nothing there either. Maybe they're just concerned about the tire light. That's fine. Let's check ABS while we're here. Anti-lock brakes. Oh, there we go. Oh wait, I did that. Duh, I did that because I went into the system. I'm getting a little excited here. A little premature. Anti-lock brake module internal stored C2200. That's not good. Internal trouble codes indicate software failures, possibly hardware failure. Let's click the what did everyone else do button. Oh no! My file service has expired and I need to pay them money to gain access that I already have on AllData, so I'm probably not going to pay them to gain access because I can just look up the code on AllData, which is like 1/10 of the price of the Snap-on update. Sorry guys. Anyway, let's back out of the system. They complained of a grinding noise or whatever while driving. Like I said, we're off the ground real quick. Let's put this thing in gear and see what it does. It's a neutral, reverse. Yeah, I hear something doing something down there. Let's see what it does in forward. I got my foot on the brakes, by the way, so we're not going to drive off the rack. I think my transmission's blown up. I don't even feel it going into gear. Okay, let's hop out real quick and raise this thing up. We'll do a quick visual inspection and see if we can't find what's going on here. All right, let's run this thing up in the air. Take a look down below. Moving on up. Black subscribe button. That's good. Done on the locks for some safety action. There we go. Okay, so we do not have the all-wheel drive version. I don't even know if they made this in an all-wheel drive. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Okay, transmission. All right, the pan's not smashed in. That's fine. The axle looks good. Not seeing much out of place here, really. This boot's torn. Look at that. See that boot right there? That's not okay. But I don't think that's probably not our problem. Yeah, that's pretty rough. Dang. Okay, that's fine. How's this other boot looking? Yeah, that boot's pretty good. Good. All right, I hear noise. Hang on here. I hear some noise. Was ist das? What is that? What's making all that noise? Is this axle broken? Look at this. Axle's busted. Look at that. Look, it's turning over here. But if we look at the axle over here, it's not turning. No way. I've never seen one do that before. That's crazy town. Well, is the transmission broken too? Let's, you know, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hop in and put it in gear real quick, and we're gonna take a look at that area and make sure that these shafts are at least trying to turn. I don't know if we have a transmission blown up problem or if we have a just an axle broken problem. Yeah, okay. Pretty sure we found the problem there. That's the noise. There's a broken joint. Wow, look at that. That thing is destroyed. Okay. I wonder if it was making noise before it let go. We're gonna have to autopsy that. So next step, I need to go find one of these and source them. I'm actually gonna do both because that one has the broken boot. That's really odd too. That one's broken. This one has not, does not have a broken boot, yet it has broken internals. I've never seen that before. Interesting. Anyway, let me go source these parts, get this job sold and everything, and we'll go ahead and pull this thing apart. I mean, they gotta fix it, it can't go anywhere. They're not gonna tow it out of here and then not fix it, right? That would not be okay. All right, let's get to work here. Alrighty, we're good to go. Parts have been ordered. Let's get this thing apart with a quickness. Those haven't been off there in a while. Okay, so clearly we're gonna have to remove the axle nut. We know that that has to come off of there. Dave's making loud Miata noises. So let's get some lubricant on these threads. They're a little rusty. Now, in order to get this apart, ring ring, we're gonna need to at least get the tie rod off, and it's either gonna be the lower ball joint or this upper section at the strut, because we're gonna have to pull the spindle away from the suspension in order to create enough space to get this axle shaft to slide out from the back. So let's go ahead and start with the tie rod because that's the easiest one to get to. I believe we need an 18 mil. I think that's 18. Replace tie rod. Nah, threads are fine, just kidding, we're good. Now, we may have to use a puller to get that out, but I'm gonna try the easy way with a linear impact driver here and just knock the thing down. Beautiful. Do an inner tie rod check. That's fine. Good. Now, to avoid to avoid losing fasteners, I'll just put that back right where it goes. That's good. Okay, so now what we've achieved is easy articulation of our steering components. So let's see. If we take these two bolts off up here in order to swing this knuckle outward, number one, we might not get enough space that we need, and number two, these could be adjustable. If we take those loose and they in fact are adjustable, that means we're gonna have this thing realigned after the service. So I'm gonna go with option 2, and that's gonna be to remove the lower ball joint and then pry that down. That's what we're gonna do. And that's this component right over here. But you know what? I might change my mind again on my non-planned plan. That's actually a pretty tight squeeze there, and that's a nylock nut, so I don't know if that's gonna really come off very easily. Let's just kind of probe the upper area right here. Let's probe these two bolts real quick and see if we're gonna be able to take this off as opposed to taking the ball joint off. What I can do to avoid messing up the alignment is just take one off and then inspect it. And if that one does not allow room for movement, we can take the other one off after tightening the first one and then inspect it. And then if neither one of those allow room for movement, then we're good to remove them both. Does that make sense? It made sense to me. You'll see, watch this. Let me show you what I'm doing here. Let's go ahead and just pull off one of these nuts right here. Okay, the bolt is turning. We'll go ahead and get a wrench in on the back side to hold the bolt. Aha, look at that, okay. See that? Very, very minimal room for movement. That's a straight through bolt hole. So what I'll do, I'm gonna put this back on. And let's inspect the bottom one next. And the survey says that that one is also a straight through bolt. It's stuck. Hammer time. Ding, fries are done. Yeah, so this will be a little bit easier than taking the ball joint off. That's what we're gonna go with here. Watch our fingers. There we go, look at that. Now we've achieved some freedom here, but look, I'm yanking on this ABS wire. Let's take the grommets off and give it some more slack so we don't break the cable. There we are. So now, we have enough space generated here by allowing this knuckle to come back towards us where we can get this axle out. So, we're gonna bust out a big 32 mil and take that axle nut off, and then we can drive this axle shaft out of the hub bearing. Okay, big socket coming in. And look at here, the shaft is falling out all on its own. That's nice and easy like. So we pull this thing back, get that shaft to come out. And now we just need to go inside with the pry bar and pry the inside part of this shaft out and away from the transmission. Okay, I've got a drain bucket straight down below from this point of view. That way any fluid that gets spilled does not end up all over the floor. That's just a big old mess and we don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is come in, I've got a 4-foot pry bar here. It's a straight angled one. If this doesn't work, I got an angular tip one as well. But we'll get behind this axle and start to wedge it away from the transmission. Cool. Popped right out. Let's just go ahead and grab the shaft. Takes 2 hands. Slide that out, paying mind to the fact that there is a seal in there and we don't want to rub these splines or the big locking C-clip against that seal. And that's that. We've got one axle removed. Let's throw this guy over here on the bench. Coffee. Yeah, that's not okay. We're gonna autopsy this at the end, but right now we need to get this thing. Well, we need to make progress, so we can see what was destroyed later on. But let's go ahead and get the other side apart. Still waiting on the new parts to arrive, so we have a little bit of time here. Rolling. Let us semi-circumnavigate the Chrysler here over our airline twice. We're in off-road mode. There we go. So this side's gonna go a lot faster because now we have the order of operations figured out. Tie rod's coming out next. 18 millimeters. With some linear impact encouragement. Now, one thing, you can't do this if the threads run all the way to the end. However, these have like a hex on the end of that, so we do not need to worry about damaging the threads unless we sideswipe it, in which case, well, that's just a failure. So don't sideswipe it. Put the nut back on. Okay, wrench. Actually, let's pull the ABS wires out of the bracket first, because we know we're going to need the space, right? Right. Okay, wrench. Loud wrench. It's an assault wrench. banned in England. Just like dogs. Do they really ban like the pit bull dogs from you guys? And if they did, are you gonna let them do it? Like I understood the English were rather defiant towards their overlords. And it seems illogical to me to allow them to take your dogs. But you never know what's true on the interwebs these days. You never know. What I do know is the voices out there are getting loud. They're getting very, very loud. Whoa, gravity. See why we took that loose earlier? I didn't mean to do that. Anyway, no harm, no foul. Looks like we've got space here to get this axle out. Good. And some pry bar. What if I can do it by hand? No, I cannot. Now this one's a little different because the transmission is way back there, and this has this intermediate shaft which connects to this shaft. So I think I'm gonna try to pry it from here. That gotta come out. Yep, popped it loose. Go ahead and grab that, pull it off the shaft, and that is the secondary unit removed. Highly successful. Excellent. Okay, so I'm on a parts hold. Let's go ahead and throw this thing off to the side. Like I said, we're gonna autopsy the other one later and see what broke inside. And we'll pick back up when my parts show up. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere. Actually, if you do wanna go somewhere, go down to this video's description and check out RainmanRaysRepairs.com, where we have newly launched custom merchandise, including flex fit fitted hats, custom embroidered red and white, as well as some t-shirts, stickers, mugs, tumblers, and other various knickknacks and items. Alrighty then, I have received my replacement parts shipment. So I've got our old axles over here, new axles right here. Let's go ahead and do a quick parts matchup to make sure everybody's gonna fit. So we're looking for where they bottom out on the wheel hubs and where they bottom out on the transfer case, or I'm sorry, transmission and or the output shaft spline. So that's the equal length there, equal length here. This is our right side that we just took out. They gave us new nuts, we got 2 of them. And splines look good, overall length looks good. I think these are gonna be good. Let's go ahead, get these guys installed and put back into position. We'll get this thing back together with a quickness. And I say with the quickness because I have no idea how I've done it, but I'm actually having a hard time getting my overall video time down. Back in the day, they used to be 15, 20 minutes, and now I'm in the hour-plus range, plus they're going part 2. So I don't know if I'm doing more work and getting less rejects, which is making for longer videos, or if it's me or what the deal is, but for some reason, somehow, some way, I'm running super long videos this past few months, and I don't understand why. So I'm gonna make an effort to keep this time down. Anyway, got that shaft slidden on, in position, whatever. Give it a tug in reverse to make sure it locked into place, and it did. So let's back it on up. I'm gonna drive that axle home a little bit harder just to make sure it is in fact fully seated, and then we'll get everything put back together. Watch what I'll do here. We'll put this nut on to protect the threads. Drop my impact on the floor, grab a hammer. Now I'm gonna push this axle in by hand, keeping it as straight as possible, okay? Give it a couple love taps here. And it did go in farther. I felt it. That's good. So we may now take the nut back off and reassemble in the reverse procedure. take this guy and turn it, stick it through the hole in the shaft, and then slide it on through, line it up. Come here, shaft. There we go, just like so. So then what we'll do is I'm kind of reaching under this whole control arm down here with my my forearm, dropping stuff, and I'm gonna pick this guy up and get those holes realigned. Stay. Now I can come in with the other fastener here, give this thing like a push to wiggle this end. There we go. Pull this bolt back out, put it back in on the correct side. We'll get our ABS wire back into its brackets, or the grommets back into the brackets rather. That's good. Now we'll go around to this side and get the nuts in position here. Click. That guy is tightened down, locked in, good to go. So next we can get this tie rod back in position here. Take the nut off, slide it up through the spindle, nut back on. And what I've got to do is push up on this tie rod to create some friction on that stud. That way the nut can run down. Clickage. All right, that side is nearly complete. Let's get the center axle nut in position and torqued into place. Okay, there's our nut. And that one's got a couple indentation on it, indentations like a pinch lock nut. Let me show you this. This is why we don't always have to have like thread lock on things. Do you see that little dimple right there, and right there? That actually deforms the threads. So these threads are going to self-lock, meaning they're gonna be hard to run down. Watch. That's it, that's all she wants to do. Now I can no longer turn it by hand. So we got to force it on. That's not going anywhere. Now, this is one of the measures that I normally would cut out of filming because it does eat up time, but people get upset when I don't apply actual clicks to these bolts especially. I know a lot of them don't get the torque wrench treatment, but we're gonna do it anyway. There we go. Click. Okay, one side is complete. Let's head over, get the driver's side back together, and we're gonna see if this thing's gonna run and drive. Chrysler Circumnavigation Part 2. That's 2 en français. Zwei auf Deutsch. And dos in español. Okay. Spline to shaft coming through. Gotta go between our components, and again, you gotta pay mind to that seal up there. Get the splines lined up, and we can use this thing as its own slide hammer. Or not. Usually you get some articulation out of the joints, or some expansion rather. That one's not wanting to really go. No matter. Put the nut on the end. And just like the other side, we'll just give it a couple love taps to encourage that C-clamp to hook up. We're just gonna tap it on in there. So what we just overcame was the friction of that C-clip that was trying to slide over the input splines inside of the differential. So we'll pull the nut back off. Get this thing bent in a little bit and through the back of the hub. Now before we line up this area here, I want to make sure that that shaft comes in straight. So we just have to pull it through and make sure the splines line up. There we go. Good. Back top. Again, give it a bit of a bear hug. Lift up the lower control arm. And then on the other side, we've got to orient these bolts properly. Beautiful. Okay, 21 wrench, 22 socket. Click. Good. And again, wheel speed sensor wires have to go back in their brackets. Easy peasy. Once the order of operations is dialed in, of course. There we go. Nope. Yep. And up there. Yeah, see that? The stud is turning. Not okay. We need some clamping force here. So I'll grab the channel locks, squeeze that, and then run it right down. Click. All right. So that leaves us with our axle tube nut, or axle shaft nut. Words. You guys know what this is? Little green thing right here? Not an extension. Got it. Beautiful. Okay, so we've clearly contaminated this friction surface with a bunch of fingerprints, so we need to clean all that stuff off. Make it nice and shiny. Good. And of course the other side, re-circumnavigating or semi-circumnavigating. And I'll tell you what, we'll meet the definition this time. We're gonna fully circumnavigate. See, this is why I can't make short videos, because I'm over here wasting time jogging around Chryslers, yay! And starting point, there we go. We have officially, completely, for the first time ever, circumnavigated a Chrysler. Now that we're done screwing around, let's get hurrah, the wheels back on. Oh. There we go. Hey, I like that, huh? That's clever, no? Raw number 2. Pick that guy right up. There we go, that one's on. Let's get our nuts screwed in and tightened down. There we go. £100. Click. Excellent. Okay, straighten the wheels out. We're gonna let this down. Head back into the cabin, check on it, and we're gonna see if these wheels turn now. Coming down. Okay, let's climb back in here. Man, my gloves. It's sweaty and hot today. My gloves gave my hands trench foot. It's not bueno. Restarting the engine. Okay, we're listening for a horrendous click noise. Let's go ahead and put her in drive. Neutral, not, yeah, there we go, drive. And letting off the brakes. Look at that. The wheels are turning. Sweet. That is victory. All right, folks, so here's the deal. I need to do an oil change in this thing real quick, powering down. And we have to go and do the autopsy on that axle. So we're gonna consider that axle autopsy a bonus feature. And since that's gonna be a bonus feature, in an effort to keep total overall video time down, I'm going to take that axle, autopsy it, make a video, and I'm gonna post that to the secondary backup B channel, which is Rain Man Ray Off Duty. I will put a link to that channel down inside of the description of this video. I will put a link to that video at the end screen at the very end of this particular video, and I'll also put a link to it down inside of this video's comments, and one more up here. That way you have multiple avenues to go and see the autopsy of that axle, which is broken right there. So having said all that, you guys, I've got to do the oil change on this thing, and then we're gonna go ahead and send it on its way. Hope to see you on the second video on this particular situation here. Let me know what you think about this vehicle, this engine, and these axles in the comment section down below. Do not forget to tap that like button while you're down there. Check your notification bell, because YouTube has been turning off notifications for various subscribers. Check your subscriber status too while you're doing that. It's free to you, and it really helps me. And it helps others that may find my content to be educational, useful, and or entertaining. So guys, that will end my moment again of shameless self-promotion. Again, thank you guys for watching, and most importantly, have yourselves a great day. See you guys later. End of video, end of Doge, end of axles, end of transmission. All right guys, we're out on the road in our Chrysler. We do have that ABS and track control warning illuminator. I'm gonna need to diag that C2200 code, but this thing does drive, it runs, steering wheel straight, we have no poles, therefore we have no alignment issue. I'm gonna call this operation as a success. It came in on a truck and it's gonna drive away all on its own. Well, what about the TPMS light? Yeah, that one. I scanned all of the sensors inside of the wheels and none of them are transmitting. So additionally, this thing would require 4 tire pressure monitoring system sensors in order to make that light go out.